I've never seen a downfall as quickly and as sudden as Pete Evans. You might remember him from MKR. He said some wacky things in the past. It gets wackier. Throw in a bit of anti-Semitism, it seems, into the mix as well, and it's game over. So we're going to talk about social media for business, what we can learn from the Pete Evans situation, both as someone who might have an influencer involved or someone who gets in trouble themselves. Let's bring in Dr. Karen Sutherland. How are you doing?
Hi, well, how are you?
I'm doing well, of course, from the University of the Sunshine Coast. How's life on the sunny coast?
Well, it's great. I'm actually in St. George today, which is about a 7-hour drive from the Sunshine Coast. We're
Yikes.
doing some digital workshops for business owners. So,
Wow, fantastic. All right, well, let's talk about Pete Evans from St. George and the fact that this feels like it's been coming for quite some time. There's a backlash about it, but really by signing up to I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here, he did receive, we understand, $200,000 as Channel 10 cancelled his contract. But it's one of those things where we live in a world where we want to get behind or support people from a media perspective who are loud and aggressive and get attention. But then there's the other side of that where they go too far and then it's game over for your product.
absolutely. And to be honest, I mean, Pete Evans has been really promoting some pretty dangerous misinformation for quite a while. So it was quite a surprise that 10 would take this risk with
Mm,
him.
mm.
I mean, it's not like sometimes what happens, you'll sign someone up and not do your research thoroughly and then they flip. But in this case, this has been building for quite some time.
Yeah, it's interesting as well that some of the products that he's behind have now been dropped by Coles and Woolies too. So it goes beyond just having his presence as part of your brand. It's now actually having anything to do with him has been knocked off as well.
Yeah, and I mean, there was actually an incident last week where there was a food product that he was associated with, and there was something in there. It was labeled incorrectly, so it could have caused like anaphylactic shock in some
Wow.
people.
Mm,
And he didn't even announce that on his channels about it, which was absolutely, I think, irresponsible. So
mm.
the supplier came out and did it, but he didn't even mention it on his channels, when his name was all over the product.
It's unbelievable, isn't it? And talk to us about what businesses can learn from these situations. I mean, I'm sure if Channel 10 had their time again, they might not have done this. There were whispers that he was going to be included in the mix a couple of weeks ago, and straight away people were pretty angry about it. That intensified after they confirmed it a few days ago that in fact, yep, he was going to head into the jungle, albeit the northern New South Wales jungle as opposed to the African jungle. And so now Channel 10 have had to, have a crisis meeting about it, decide what to do about it, and they've decided to get rid of him as well. It's interesting to see a big brand like Channel 10 have such a misstep on this one, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, when you're working with an influencer, look, I'm not an influencer expert by any means, but what you need to do is really research them to make sure that it's like using, say, in public relations, often or marketing, you use a celebrity to endorse your brand. It's exactly the same thing. And so you need to really do your research first to make sure that they're the type of person sharing the content that's going to align with your brand values, and that they actually have the audience that you're going after, that you're trying to attract. And so there's one thing about causing controversy, but there's another thing about sharing actually damaging information on social media now. And what we saw with some research that came out of QUT earlier in the year is that it's these sort of influence, like people with a huge following, that are the super spreaders of this misinformation. And so, do you want to be a part of that,
Mm,
by engaging with these people and helping to spread that misinformation? Because if you are, like, you are actually endorsing that, and it can
yeah.
actually have really dangerous consequences.
Yeah, all right. Dr. Karen Sutherland from the University of the Sunshine Coast, currently in her motel in St. George. I just want to say thank you for making the bed. I did a cross to someone the other day who hadn't made their
I
bed,
did.
and it was great.
No, I did. I got up early to do it.
Brilliant. All right, we'll talk to you again soon. Enjoy your time out there, and we'll see you next week.
Thank you.